Hi, I'm Samko. How oligarchs can buy a dollar for 20 cents in my country and then sell it for one full dollar? Let's go. After the revolution in my country and takeover of the country by radical religious anti-Western forces and committing an unimaginable action unprecedented in the world, our relation with the United States and subsequently with the rest of the world began to deteriorate. Then the country descended into a protracted war of attrition, came at devastating cost, resulting in the loss of a significant share of its strategic weaponry, financial resources, and most critically its young generation. And then a series of consecutive United States sanctions with the rise of unqualified and inexperienced individuals to the helm of the country's economy and government. The country was completely devastated over the few decades. At the same time, the prices had increased at an unprecedented level. Therefore, the government sought a solution to pull the country out of the crisis. After months of back-to-back meetings, ultimately the government found the solution that introducing the so-called government-controlled exchange rate, aimed to prevent further prices increase. In this method, the government decided to sell the currency earned from oil sales at one-fifth of its actual price to importers of essential goods such as corn, wheat, oil, butter, sesame, soy, chicken, and red meat, medicine, and the other critical items. This decision was implemented in order to enable importers to buy a dollar at one-fifth of the real price to import the necessary product at one-fifth of its cost. Consequently, this good could reach consumers at the same reduced price, helping to mitigate the effects of inflation. So far, everything had gone according to the plan. It only required that an importer submit an order or receive the government-allocated currency and bring the goods into the country at one-fifth of the real price, so that inflation would be eliminated smoothly. But in the middle of the process, importers began considering whether it was possible to sell the subsidized dollar at its real value in free market. How we can sell the subsidized dollar for 5 times the price? So they thought carefully and hired the skilled advisors until they find 3 ways. 3 ways for buying a dollar for 20 cents and sell that again for $1. These 3 methods paved the way for the emergence of a class whose wealth could not be measured by any standard. These businessmen, by taking advantage of the privilege, they amassed such astonishing levels of wealth that even the biggest market players were incapable of competing with such entities. Now let's go to the core of the story and start explaining the methods these individuals were buying a dollar for 20 cents and then selling that for one full dollar and making a 5 full profit in the process. First way, place more orders. In this method, importers applies for government subsidized currency to import an essential product such as soybeans. In the first step, importers should initially they had to determine the country's consumption level because they were obligated to sell these goods throughout the government online platform, and if they import more than country demand, they would no buyers. So therefore, up to this point, importers they are only entitled to receive government subsidized dollar, import goods according to the country's actual needs, and sell everything throughout the transparent online system at one-fifth of the global price, because they had purchased the goods with government dollars at a fifth of the normal rate, so they were obligated to sell them at the same fraction. Therefore, up to this point, everything had been carefully planned with no opportunity to circumvent the rules. But sooner or later, every system reveals a loophole. After a while, they find a way to bypass the system. They realized that by bribing corrupt officials, they could obtain additional state-subsidized currency, increase imports, and once domestic demand was met, divert the excess goods through smuggling network to neighboring countries, where they were sold at a real market prices multiple times higher than the official rate. Second way, under this method, traders did not even need to travel themselves and do the complex step. All they had to do is pay larger bribes, submit more important registration, and receive greater amounts of government subsidized foreign currency, and then take the dollar obtained at 20 cents and sell them in exchange office for a full dollar. The reality is that long before any of these steps were taken, they had already located corrupt banking and judicial officials and bought them off with the bribes, effectively removing any political obstacles. And the third method worked as follows. These importers receive government subsidized foreign currency and import goods into the country, but less than 30% of them through the official website. And because farmers, in order to prevent their animals from starving, were forced to obtain these goods from the black market. And the importers exploited this situation with the assistance of corrupt officials, and they sold the remaining 70% to the farmers up to 5 times higher than the official rate. Okay, that's enough for today. I've taught you too much about stealing. Next video, I teach you same other ways to steal. For now, goodbye.